Hey guys, Penguin here. Welcome back. This is going to be episode 2 of Road to One Dawn, where I give a tutorial on the ancient Chinese game of Go. Um, and this episode is going to be about board judgment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to review the first game I played on this account. It's an 18K versus 18K game. I'm Penguin and I'm playing black against Michael 1614, who's also 18K. And we're going to be looking at this game from the perspective of board judgment. So this is purely, we're not going to talk about fighting, we're not going to talk about shape, we're not going to really talk about much except for decision making. Like how do you decide where to play at any particular time? We'll get into it, right? So black's first move, what we said earlier, what are your priorities? You want to find immediate threats, and then immediate opportunities, and then just regular threats, anything that can kind of annoy you, or threats against the opponent, and then the big moves, right? You want to find profitable moves, like play, efficient moves, whatever. We'll talk about that when we get there. So move 1, there's nothing on the board, right? So you can pretty much play in the corner. I personally prefer playing 3-4. You can play 4-4, whatever move you feel comfortable with, you can choose, but it's open. I think corners are the most point efficient moves, so generally corners are good. White plays in the corner on a 3-3 point, a really solid move. 3-3, it's really hard to attack, and I think one thing that you're going to find in this game is that black won't really have too much to attack because of white's opening, right? So black ends up having to play bigger moves, or look for big moves because there really are no threats to play. So it becomes kind of like a PvE type of a game. So at this point, either corner I think is big. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about that, because there's no weaknesses, nothing to attack, you just grab another big point, so black grabs a big corner. So white, again, no weaknesses, right? These are just stones, so white's probably just going to play in his corner. Yep. So he plays 2-3-3 stones, right? That's a super solid opening. There's like, basically, white just goes, I'm taking my 10 points plus Comey, that's like straight up 15 points. I'm just going to take a point lead, right? Black's got what? Maybe, I wouldn't even call these 10 points. I'd call these 5-5. So white's got a Comey lead right now, right? White is just taking the lead and holding it. So black's to move. Again, there's nothing weak on for that black has to fix, right? They're all just stones sitting in the corner. White's also stones sitting in the corner. Nothing black can do to attack anything. So you want to find a big move. Biggest area on the map. The way I figure out where the biggest areas are is by looking at the distance between the stones at the beginning of the game, right? So if you look at the dots, see that? The dots are, well, the whole board is 19, right? The distance between this line and this line, let's see, it's this line, oops, should be from here to here, huh? So you've got this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 this way. Looks like it's 15 this way too, right? Because it's corner to corner plus 1 plus 1. This is corner to corner plus 1 plus 1. So this is also 15. And then this one to this one is only 14. And again, this one to this one is a dot to dot plus 1. So this is 14, right? So you got 14 here. Oops, sorry. 14, 14. And then you got 15 and 15. Right? So the bigger sides, of course, are the 15-15. So that's how you kind of figure out where you want to play, at least in the beginning. You just find the biggest distance between the stones, and you say, you know what, that's where I'm going to play. So how do you decide between this 15 and this 15? Well, you want to find moves that are efficient, right? If you play something here, you end up disrupting these two, but you can't really do much else besides that, you know? Whereas on top, on one hand, you kind of disrupt this thing, but you also take a huge old corner. You also start building a box around here, and this is a game about building boxes, you know? So I'm building a box in the corner, building a box this side, reducing how far he can build his box, I guess, on this side. I'm gonna play in top. Now, here, or something like that, I would say is now starting to become preference. If you play on this side, you are playing more aggressively in terms of grabbing more of the board, but then you leave more weaknesses. I personally like to just leave fewer weaknesses, and give up a little bit of efficiency by grabbing the point lead. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yep, corner. So white plays a move. So this is the last big area. Now, if I were him though, I would also have to consider, like I said earlier, black is starting to build his own box on this side, right? White's box is still very flat. It's only a box around the edge. If you look at black's box, it's starting to look like this, right? Now, it's a lot weaker because, you know, black can't really jump in here, but at the same time, black doesn't really need to keep all of it because the box is twice as big as this one. So look at this, right? We're gonna do, that's currently white's blocks, right? It's pretty solid because it's got, you know, another stone in the middle, whereas black has black's got this, and then black is also threatening this, like that. Look at that difference, right? Like, even if white jumps in and takes half of it, half of this is just as big as that, and he's not going to be able to take half of that. Like, he's not going to be able to destroy half of this. So black is actually just so much faster than white. And it's literally the first 6 moves in the game, but I'm hoping you can see, like, if you're not going to be able to fix something in one move, may as well go for more, right? Like this, it's only useful if you think black's going to jump in and fight you here, and then you're going to be able to profit on one side or the other, you know? But if you can't profit from a fight on either side, try to do something somewhere else. It's not good enough right now. Like, if white had gone in and said, you know what, I think you're getting too much here, I'm going to destroy this, and then make you figure things out, because, you know, if you jump in here, I'm strong and I can fight you, that's fine. But now you're saying, I'm strong, I'm really, really strong, but after a certain point, it doesn't matter how strong you are, you're just a really solid shape, and you're just, like, not efficient anymore. Whereas black's going, yeah, I'm really strong here, I'm okay here, but, you know, since I'm not leaving you any real weaknesses to attack me with, I'm just gonna let you try to attack me, and I'm just gonna fix it, because I have such a big lead, right? Point-wise, I mean, check this out. Point-wise, if you do, like, my counting method, yellow's gonna be black, and I'll do blue as white. So we'll do, every 3x3 is gonna be 10 points. That's how I count. And then if there's anything in the 3x3, I immediately knock it down to 5 points. That's just how I swag my numbers. So for example, I'll do this 3x3 is going to be 10 points. This 3x3, I'm going to call that 5 points because it's contested. And I'm just going to leave this as that. Here, I'm going to call this, well, I don't really have this, but I guess I'm going to call this 10 points here as well. That's cool, right? This shape, what I say, is going to be blue. I'll call this 5 points. I'll call this 5 points. And I'll give it to him. I'll call this 5 points. And then since white also has base Komi, I don't really like thinking in terms of 7.5, 6.5. I just call it 5 as well. So in this case, I think the game is actually pretty even right now. Point-wise, I think black's got 10, 15, 25. White's got 5, 10, 15, 20 points. So actually, I think black is leading by a little bit now that I look at it. And I think the correct go term is white looks over concentrated. But that's a bit advanced. I'm not gonna go into that one for now. Just gonna say, looking at people, finding the right big points, fixing your weaknesses. If you don't have weaknesses, then play a big point. This was big, but this side is bigger. Breaking up a potential bigger territory than yours is better than fixing a smaller one, right? Can you guys see that now? This is bigger, this is smaller. You want to go deal with the bigger thing. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys, right? Any strategy game has objectives, and you got to keep your mind on objective gaming, right? It's not about tunneling and saying, I want to do this because this is my game plan and I started with these 2 stones and I want to keep building them. You got to look at the game and you got to play the game. Make sense? So black's like, fine. You know what? I can tell it's so obvious you want to build this thing up, right? Black still has no weaknesses, but now that white is starting to commit moves into building this up, he's actually leaving himself weaknesses, because his game plan is basically obviously trying to do this, right? He wants to be able to build like that, right? That's his game plan. His alternative is also, because he stuck that stone in the middle there, he kind of wants to also keep this, right? Like, so he's got 2 targets. He's got this big thing that he's trying to build, and then he's got this side territory also, this as well, that he's trying to just hold on to, right? So black is like, well, I've got this in the works. White's got this in the works, but I could just aggressively say build this before white can jump in and try to build his own side, right? So now the board looks like that. Oops. So now the board just looks like, boom, black and white. It's not real points yet, but this is I'm setting the stage for the rest of the game. White has lost tempo, right? He made sure that he got his side and it's really solid, but he wasn't playing the biggest possible move. It's big, don't get me wrong, that's definitely a big move, but it's not the biggest move, right? Black is saying, yeah, since you played so slow and you're making your game plan very easy to read, I can consider that a threat, right? And also it's a threat against your game plan. So I'm going to ruin it. Again, another thing to keep in mind, why am I playing on the bottom versus on top? Because you want to count again, right? The stones, the distance between this one and this one, or this one and this one. Now, remember, there's also this one and this one. There's also this one and this one. This side is the biggest side, I'm not gonna lie, and because of that, I think playing here or something, grabbing the corner and playing on this side is actually not a bad move. But in this case, I just felt like because this isn't really fixing a weakness, whereas white is presenting a weakness in his strategy, I am addressing that weakness. This is a big move, but this actually is addressing a white weakness. Does that make sense? If white plays here, all of a sudden he's got a box, right? If white plays here, all of a sudden he's got a box. Imagine if this stone was white. In fact, I could even do that. Imagine if there's like a white stone like right here. You know, oops. Right? Now he's got boxes. Right? Now this is actually starting to look pretty good. Oops. Not again. Sorry, I'm kind of noob with this tool. Now look at this white shape, right? Looking a little bit better. You know, he pretty much almost doubled the size of his potential box by just playing in this aim area. In fact, he could even play like, you know, over here or like over here and be building like a big old box like that, right? So you want to prevent that, you know? But with one move, if black can say, you know what, I just messed with your plans and made your box all small, he doesn't even have a chance to play later in the game. You just messed him up on move 10. Actually, this is move 7, right? So let's get back to the game. White is still not doing anything. So white saw that black was looking at possibly jumping in to attack this stone, and I think that's correct. But yeah, he's sort of defending a potential weakness. But what he doesn't realize is that this stone can also be considered or turned into a weak stone, right? Because remember, we said that this 3-3 move is super strong. White can actually jump on the other side and start attacking it like right away, you know? Like if white played something like, oops, what the? If white played something like that, right? I think this is actually legit because black's actually not that strong. White's, you know, trying to surround him with 3 stones. This thing in the corner is so strong, you know? It doesn't grab too many points, but it's so strong. Like black can't really touch it to mess with it. So I think white can say, you know what? You intentionally played a faster move, so I'm gonna attack it because I noticed that it's actually kind of weak. But he didn't do that. He just said, you know what? You approached me. You came at me. I'm feeling a little scared because I don't know why I'm scared because I think he maybe doesn't think this stone is really strong. I don't know, but just this stone is so strong, right? No need to defend something that's already strong. You gotta look for weaknesses and defend them. If you don't have weaknesses, find theirs. Make their stuff into weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Black's move again. So white didn't turn this into a weak group or anything like that. And black is saying, well, you obviously want to move this way. Again, on top. Since the bottom side's taken out, this is the last area you can do to build anything. Right? So either he develops on top or starts trying to mess with black down here now. But again, black doesn't care, right? Black is like, so there's so much area here. Black pretty much is controlling the entire board over here, you know? Like look at it. This is black's, right? This is white's. More or less, at this point, white can't make points anywhere else outside of the green area. Like white can play like over here and like, you know, maybe make a group, right? Maybe he can make a group here or make a group here or something like that, or make a group up here, make a group down here. But it's not going to be anywhere near as efficient as his earlier moves when he played 3 stones and suddenly took the entire side by playing 3 stones. There's nothing that efficient anymore on the map, right? And everything he plays, black is going to be building on the other side. If he wants this, black's going to take this if he wants this. Vice versa. If he wants this, black's also going to take this. You know? It's like, it's very hard now, you know? Anyway. So white now blocks again. Again, no weaknesses anywhere. Black is perfectly happy leaving these two stones here because all they're doing is extending my box and restricting his. So now I'm just going to go for more points. I don't have anything weak, and the biggest side we said earlier was still this one, so I'm just going to play in this side and make my corner big. You know what? And basically eliminate any threat white has against the corner now. So black is solid, has a point lead. Well, actually, let's do a quick count now that we're here. So black is going to be blue, and white will make green, right? So we'll do 10 points, 15 points, and then same down here, 25, 30, and I won't give any points for these right now because just how do you say it? I'm not really defending any points. I mean, white can stick a stone here, and there's no real reading involved. I can't kill it, right? I don't see myself killing anything with these, so we'll just leave that for now. Let's do white now. We'll do. Sorry. We'll do 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35. We'll say that's 40, 45 with Comey. We'll say that's 45 with Comey because there's an extra 3 here, and I'm just going to call that 5. Right? So we'll say 45. Actually, I guess white is actually leading point-wise, huh? You know what? I take it back. I guess white is actually leading point-wise because he was playing so solid. But black is still comfortable here because, like I said earlier, white has nowhere left to make points. So he has to make sure black pretty much stays less than 45 points. And I don't think that's possible, since black already has, like we said, 10, 20, 30. So white has to keep black under 15 points with the rest of his board. Good luck with that. So anyway, white doesn't even attack severely. White kind of plays away and wants to. He's scared of fighting, right? So black at this point is just like, you know what? I know I have to win, or I have to gain another 15 points. So I'm just gonna slowly build my points and indirectly attack this, right? Now white doesn't have much room, and it's still pretty hard to attack this dude, you know? Like, I can run up, I can run out this way, I can run out this way. Like, this stone is pretty comfortable. I can even jump and touch the corner and just mess with him there. So, okay, black gets attacked directly. So finally, he's got to respond because this is actually legit a weak group now. So, but I also see that white's got a stone here, and I can start trying to make that into a weak group. So I'm going to start defending and attacking at the same time. Boom. Right, in worst case scenario, I just connect. And then, you know, if this thing connects out or whatever it does it can do, I can still run out, jump into the corner, do a lot of stuff here. So the rest of the board hasn't changed. The only weak group for black is here. The only weak group for white is here. So we still just address it. Fix this. Fix the weak group. Attack the weak group. Same deal. White is trying to protect his weak group, and also it attacks the black weak group. So black again defends and attacks back, right? It's a flow back and forth. You attack me, I attack you, I get stronger, you get stronger. We'll talk about flow and strength in another video. So this is what happens when you don't address the weak group, right? White obviously should know that this is huge. This white group down here, I'm not going to say if this is a good move or not, but this white group down here is keeping this black group weak. Right? And in order to find good moves, you need weak groups from on your enemy side, right? Like we said, number one, defend your weaknesses. So if you keep making weak groups for your opponent, he's gonna have to keep defending. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just what it is. It's your objective is points and killing your opponent, right? So if you keep making weaknesses for your opponent, they're just gonna have to keep defending. At the same time, if you leave your weaknesses, you're just gonna keep getting attacked, right? And if you say, you know what, I don't care if I have weaknesses, I'm gonna leave them. Well, we'll show you what happens in a bit. He attacks up here, so I'm gonna be like, all right, fine. You know what? You left this stone here weak. I'm stronger than you right now. I can just play away too. Now suddenly, you know, he's got weak groups here now, so he's gonna defend. If I were him, I would just play away, right? Black got easy profit here because he played a bad move, but again, you know what? If he had left it here, I don't think Black would have done anything. But since he plays a move, turns Black into a weakness again, Black has to defend. Except in defending, Black is building and attacking this. Now this thing, every move he plays up here, White has fewer and fewer moves to escape. Does that make sense? Black is totally fine playing around this area, fixing himself, because he's actually indirectly also affecting this white group and attacking, right? So all of these moves up here are actually efficiently making this group's life hell. Alright, White wants to breach, but if White gets out here, this black group could suddenly become a weak group. So I think this is an urgent move. I have to answer it. Again, I think White should just ignore this move because he's got no weaknesses here, dude. Play your weaknesses, but he doesn't. Now, this group is strong. This group is strong. This group is strong. This area is weak. This is also kind of weak. All of these are strong. So, I gotta deal with my weaknesses, right? I got a weakness here that I have to fix. I have a weak group here that I want to attack. So I'm gonna do both. And at the same time, I'm building this up. These are all points now. And these are dead, right? So I basically fix this group by killing this thing off. And the whole reason is because he missed the timing by playing this move. He didn't prioritize the objective, which is the weak group, and he got punished for it. And that's the game, really. I mean, from here on out, it's just black is just fixing, because black knows white is gonna just die. Yeah, he's just throwing moves in here. Black doesn't even have to play. I don't think black plays here, actually. Yeah. So, we said earlier, what did we say earlier? Point-wise, white pretty much secured all these points. There's nothing black can do about it. But, there's no way white can make points anywhere else. Right? Like, he can play here, and then black will just build walls on both sides and then take points. Kind of like this, right? White tried to make something here. Black just built all of this up by playing around here. So no matter what white does, even if this group lived, right? Look at it. Even if this group lived, all of these, everything here is now solid. Well, I guess solid points, right? What is white gonna do? Like, he let black build this wall here. You know? Just, that's the power of having, like, a big box, especially early in the game. No matter what happens in that area, you benefit from it. That's why you build big boxes. You don't want to build such tight shapes like this thing over here, because, face it, what did he do with it? He made points, and that's all he did with it, right? You can't attack with it. This black group on the bottom just killed his thing here, but really, he should have been attacking and trying to do stuff with this wall, not making points. This is called making points with the Moyo. Very bad. So anyway, here, black is just like, well, again, I have no weaknesses to attack because white is so solid, right? I actually do have weaknesses here. They're not game over critical immediate threats. They're kind of annoyances, you know? Like, I know white can start a fight in here. So now I'm just going to be like, you know what? I don't know exactly how and where he's going to invade and start a fight, but what I can do is I can make sure that no matter where he starts the fight, I can benefit even more. I can profit and make more, even more points. And how do I do that? I just keep making boxes. So I make the biggest possible box I can on the screen. And that, I think, pretty much clinches the game. Yes, white can still invade. Yes, white can still play here, can poke around the corner. He can definitely still take away some points in here, but with every move that he plays, look, no matter what he does, I'm building boxes with the rest of my stones. That's called synergy. You know what I'm saying? So white to play. White wasted a move because that thing is already dead, so I don't have much to say there. Black just makes sure that it dies because really it actually doesn't matter. I could even let this thing live, to be honest. I honestly don't care what happens to that group. I could have played here and just been like, alright, I'll pass a few turns. White's trying to break out. So there's a little bit of a weakness here. So I'm probably just going to fix it. Yeah, I just fixed it. Now it's even harder for white to invade here, and I just fixed the weakness here as well. So I'm just fixing things now. Call me Mr. Fix-It. I said earlier white wanted to invade here because he could probably live if he invaded here and let white build on, or let black build on both sides. But again, it was a weakness, so I'm just going to fix that too. Now I don't even think white can even invade anymore. He might be able to do something in the corners a little bit, but that's it. Oh yeah, he does that, but I'm not even worried. I'm building to the outside. If I mess up and white lives in here, be my guest. But I'm just gonna fix. Well, if he's gonna let me kill eye space, I'll just kill the eye space because I don't have to worry about that. And I'm just building walls to the outside. Look at this. I'm just building walls. I'm just building points on this side and this side. Not even focused on this. I mean, this thing dies, of course, but that really wasn't what I was focused on. I'm just like, if I mess up and he lives in here somehow, I got points on both sides. I'm happy. He pokes, I defend. He pokes, I defend. He pokes, I defend. He does a really slow move, so I poke him back. He defends, I poke, he defends, I fix. And pretty much from here on out, the game's over. I'll click through the remaining moves just so you see how the shape looks at the end of the game, but pretty much there's nothing left to this game. It's already over at this point. It's just end game stuff. The big moves are all gone. And white just struggles a little bit. So yeah, not much to really talk about here. So this is where we end the game. And just to show you score estimate, pretty big difference, right? 180 is what this thing says. Now I want you to take a look at this board and notice the shape, right? I'm just gonna go all the way back to move. We'll move here to move 7. No, we'll say here. Right? You see this shape, and then you see this. Not a lot. If you look at it, that's how important early game moves are, right? We said earlier that white boxed out this, right? We said white boxed out this territory, And then black boxed out this territory. Now look at the end of the game. Look at line F. Look at where line F is, right? And now I'm going to go back to the end of the game. Look at line F. Eyes on line F. Boom. Line F. Wall of doom right there. A little bit inside, a little bit outside, but right there. Everything up to line F. The shape stays the same. That's how critical those first 10 moves are. You really set up the rest of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear it in other games too, like Dota or in Overwatch. You know, get on the objective, focus on the objective. You know, there's no reason to kill. You wanna focus, keep your eyes on the objective, play big moves because this game is all about optimization. You win by points. You don't get points without prepping, and you prep with the first few moves of the game. You know. So I think that's that for this first lesson. Next time I'm gonna do a game between myself and another 18K, and I am actually gonna be playing white that game. Well, the interesting thing is that 18K is actually, my guess is he's probably sandbagging, and he's probably a Dawn player as well. The game is quite exciting, and I actually make a mistake in the beginning of the game. You'll see it. And when you make a mistake, you fall behind. If you fall behind, you have to fight, and fighting is real hard. And you're gonna see me struggle. I just wanted to demonstrate to you, even against like an 18K, a misplay from you can be punished so badly. And you just have to keep your eyes on the goal, right? You find a weakness, you play the weakness. You find a threat, you play the threat. Like, just know your priorities, keep your priorities straight and play them, and it'll turn out well. You mess up, the game goes downhill, and then you have to fight your way out, right? It's kind of flashy, but at the same time, you can't guarantee that you're going to win, because you're going to see my fight. If the guy was even a little bit better, found a better move, you guys can even try to figure out how to win that fight. Because one mistake, he made a few mistakes in that fight, and that allowed me to crawl my way back and win. But any mistake anywhere, and I would have just straight up lost to an 18K, right? So anyway, that's a little bit of a preview for next game. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next time.